Good evening, bride and bridegroom, both host and hostess, relative and friends. My name is Elliot, and despite my inability to speak or read well in public, James has chosen me to be his best man. And I imagine, like many people here, I thought marrying Kate and James was starting to make good decisions in his life. For those of you that are wondering why there are two best men standing here, it's perfectly simple. James wanted to appoint a best man for the occasion, but could not find one capable, so settled for two barely competent ones instead. As the best man, I'm supposed to sing the groom's praises and tell you all his good points. But I'm very sorry, I can't sing, and I won't lie. All jokes aside, James, you're a generous and intelligent guy. And how you've managed to build a successful business on your own in the current climate, I'm sure anyone would agree is very impressive. Speaking of work, I had a conversation with one of your clients the other week, and they described you as godlike. I said, I know you're good at what you do, but that sounded a bit over the top. So I asked him to explain. So he said, you're rarely seen, the office is never open, if you do any work, it's a miracle. I remember when I first introduced James and Kate. It was about 4.5 years ago, in the very, very romantic setting that was Walthamstow Dogs Tracks. I knew they were going to be perfect for each other. I've watched their relationship grow. I've seen Kate's increased tolerance for the repetitive jokes and frequent late nights in the casino, and James be smitten with her since the day began. I always knew this day would come. It's been a true honour and a privilege to be your best man today. I hope that one day I'll be asking you to return the same honour to me. Because let's face it, I have fewer friends than you. Before I pass the microphone over to Mark, Mr. and Mrs. Nissen, I wish you a long, happy and healthy life together, and a big mazel tov on this special day.
Well done, James. We finally got here. Only took you about 4.5 years. But as you say, I'm always the late one. How could you? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start off by saying what a wonderful and beautiful occasion this is to see my dear friend James and his beautiful bride Kate married today. Such beautiful settings, an overwhelming chuppah, great food, everybody looking lovely, and of course, most importantly, beautiful bride and groom. As one of James's best men, is normally accustomed to let everybody know a bit about the groom. Praise his attributes, how we met, how the bride and groom met, his stag, and of course, to humiliate him at the time. Well, I'll start back to front. James, I do not need to humiliate you, as you do quite a good job of that yourself. Stag. Well, normally as everyone knows, the best man arranges stag, which of course is myself and Elliot. As James, Elliot and myself like a bit of a spiel, we always said that we can't wait for James to get engaged, just so we can have a stag in Vegas. Elliot and James thought it would be a bit too much for us and the royal friends to go to Vegas. So we decided to change the destination from Vegas to Monaco, and then instead ended up in Bournemouth. Let me tell you, it ended up being more expensive in Bournemouth than it would have been if all of us going to Vegas with flights and accommodation included. How the bride and groom met. As Elliot mentioned, they met on a romantic evening on the outskirts of Walthamstow Dogs Tracks. Finally, I should mention the word skirts, because Kate happened to be wearing a skirt that evening, which was long enough to dress, but short enough to impress. Now, normally when a guy first meets a girl that he likes, You'd go over, introduce yourself, make polite conversation, try to be charming, but no. James' opening line in front of all our friends to Kate was, "By the way, may I say you have the sexiest pair of legs I've ever seen in my life." That's all it took, and here we are today. Now, how James and I met, I haven't the foggiest idea. A bit about James. Well, for those of you who do not know James, he has a very big personality, even bigger than his hairy chest. He's funny, charming, a people's person, and he always has a way of putting a smile on everyone's face, even when you're down. In my case, when I'm 500 down. We have three things in common. We're both professional estate agents. We like the ladies and playing poker. Unfortunately, we're no good at any of them. I think this sums everything up, so I'll end by saying the following. May everyone please be upstanding with a glass of liquor in their hand while I wish them a blessing. James, Kate, you're both such wonderful people who everyone loves. You bring happiness and joy to all the people around you, your family and your friends. You're a fine example of how a happy couple should be, and are of course a perfect match. I have every confidence that your marriage will be a great success, as you have proven till now. May you love, cherish and look after each other for the rest of your lives. Amen. Amen. To the bride and groom.
Great silence for the response by the bridegroom.
Now my version of events. Family and friends. Wow, what a day. I can't believe how quickly the past 7 months have flown by since I smuggled a diamond ring down my trousers through customs at Gatwick Airport. In November last year, I took Kate on holiday to the Cape Verde Islands for her birthday as a present. Little did she know that this would be a holiday she would never forget. A couple of months prior, I had decided it was that time that Kevin and Shelley and my parents had been waiting for 4.5 years. As we went through customs, the X-ray machine bleeped. I couldn't believe my luck. Here I am with a diamond ring smuggled down my trousers, Kate by my side. Luckily, after pretty much standing in front of thousands of holiday goers, and not much more than my boxer shorts, I managed to keep it a secret. I knew that our parents would be eagerly awaiting a phone call from us to say that we were engaged. I did contemplate the idea of keeping them waiting a whole 7 days until I proposed. I do have a slightly warped sense of humour, so I'm told. But on the second day of the holiday, I felt it was the right moment. While I was sitting on the balcony of our hotel room, I went inside and came out onto the balcony and got down on one knee. By the way, okay, it's the last time I'm ever going to get down on one knee. After a bit of crying and a bit of kissing, I had to ask her. Well, and of course the answer was yes. Well, let's be honest, she wasn't going to say no. Don't answer that. As a few of you might have recognised, I'm a rather modest sort of guy. Very shy, quiet, introverted, and generally keep myself to myself. But on this occasion, I have to say, Kate, you've hit the jackpot. Now Now really, on a serious note, Kate, you're wonderful, you're amazing, you're kind, you're generous, you're sexy, you're gorgeous, you're stunning. You deserve me. Sorry. When we were having a meeting with the rabbi to discuss the ceremony, he asked me when I realised I was going to marry Kate. My answer was, and this is true, 4.5 years ago when we first met. We were both invited, as you heard before, to my best man Elliot's birthday. We all met at Elliot's flat for a few drinks before going to Walthamstow Dog Trap, which, in case any of you are wondering, is now luxury 1- and 2-bedroom flats. I can still get you a good deal, but you have to see me after the honeymoon in the office. Anyway, I remember walking into Elliot's living room and recognising everyone apart from this pretty little brunette in the corner of the room. Now, going back to my original point, I'm very modest, shy, and generally keep myself to myself. But probably the best thing I ever did was to walk up to this pretty little brunette and I said, "Wow, you've got the best pair of legs I've ever seen." This comment didn't pan out the way I was hoping. In fact, Kate ignored me for the rest of the night.
Good play.
Now, most of my friends over there know that I know nothing about gambling. So I asked Kate to help me pick a dog for one of the races. I don't remember the name of the dog, but knowing my luck, it was probably something like Keep Wishing. Anyway, I agreed that whatever I won, I would split with Kate. I have a confession. Not wanting to start married life on the wrong foot, I feel I have to tell you I won 50 quid. So I've got a cheque for you for half the winnings. Now, the past 7 months have been non-stop planning, discussing about food tastings, bands, invitations, dresses, the list goes on. Watching every type of wedding programme on TV. 4 Weddings, Don't Tell the Bride, The Wedding Channel. But with all this inspiration, none of today would have been possible without our parents' meticulous planning and dedication. I can't tell you the amount of time I've spent on the phone to my parents discussing every element of the day in fine detail. Not once, but again, and again, and again. So, in
Well, it
fact,
paid off.
I'd like to give this to you, which will cover the phone bill. It's addressed to Mrs. Nissen, so you can bank it tomorrow. Sorry, Unfortunately, there are some people who can't be with us today to enjoy the results of all the planning. Kate's grandma, or Safta in Israel, and my papa and his wife Cindy. Unfortunately, Safta and papa are both a bit unwell, but I'm sure if they were here, they'd probably be partying harder than anyone else. Everyone knows that what happens on the stag stays on the stag. But in this case, I feel I should say a few words. Thanks for a great stag. My 2 best friends thought it would be a great idea to go to Las Vegas for a few days, as we all love to play a bit of poker. The idea then changed to Monte Carlo, as we made sense to stay a bit more local, considering we were only going to go for a few days. Then the plan changed again, and we ended up going to Bournemouth and stayed in the Premier Inn, where everything is Premier apart from the price. Don't worry, boys, it was great, it's fantastic, but just wait till you both get married. It was impossible for me to choose between my 2 best mates as to who would be my best man, but both of you have done me very proud. Speaking about proud, I have to mention our 2 stunning bridesmaids. Sorry, Jen and Marina, you're both looking fabulous, but I was actually talking about these 2 over. You've both done an amazing job today. I've seen many flower girls throwing petals, but the way Macy so delicately dropped every single petal was amazing. Kate and I love you both very, very much, and we want to give you a present, so thank you. I've got a present. Wow. Someone's got more money in it.
What about going to Kate?
You want to take this? Mason.
Finally, I get to talk about my wife, Mrs. Nissen. Now, I've already spoken about how we met and how I proposed. What I haven't spoken about is the future. My parents are already grandparents, but your mum has made a specific point of telling me that they don't want to have to wait another 4.5 years before we meet the next chapter. Kate, you take everything in your stride. The average bride-to-be will be fretting about every element of your wedding day, but you are definitely not the average bride. Your dress, after 5 visits to the dress shop, looks fabulous. Your hair looks amazing, and you look just as stunning as you do every time I look at you. The rabbi sang Eshet Chayil when he walked around me 7 times under the chuppah. Eshet Chayil means a woman of valor more precious than pearls. This couldn't have been more fitting. You're an amazing and beautiful person who I love to pieces, and I can't wait to start the next chapter of our lives together. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses to my wife, Mrs. Nissen.
Mrs. Nissen.
To Kate.
Shir ha'malos b'shuv Adonai Shivat Zion hayinu kacholmin Az yimale sahopinu Ushonenu rina Az yamru v'goyim Higdil Adonai la'asot imele Higdil Adonai la'asot imanu Hayinu samechim Shuva Adonai et shiviteinu Ka'afikim ba'negev Hazorim b'dina B'rina yiksoru Haloch yelech luvacho Nose meshech hazaro Bo yavo v'rina Nose alumotav Tehilat Adonai yedaber pi Bivarecho bas Hashem kadshel elam va'ed Ve'anachnu nevarech ya Me'ata v'yad olam hallelujah Hodu l'Adonai ki tov Ki le'olam hasdo Mi yamalel gevurot Adonai Yashmi'a kol techilato Rabotai navarech Yehi Shem Adonai merach me'ata v'yad olam Devai haseh v'gam haron V'yazilem v'shi'aron Nechenu b'maglei tzedek She'ei berchas b'nei Yishrun Birshus maranav rabanav rabotai navarech Eloheinu Shechasimcha b'mono V'shachanu mishalo Baruch Eloheinu shechasimcha b'mono V'shachanu mishalo V'tuvo hayinu Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam Hazan et ha'olam kulo b'tuvo V'chein b'chesed u'rachamim Hu noten lechem l'chol basar Ki le'olam hasdo U'v'tuvo hagadol Tamid lo hasalanu ve'al yasalanu Mazon le'olam va'ed Ba'avu shemo hagadol Ki huzanim fanes lakol U'meitiv lakol U'vechin mazon L'chol b'riotav Asher barach Baruch atah Adonai Hazan et ha'kol Adonai Eloheinu, al shechinata lavotenu, eretz hemdata v'arachava. Ve'al shechotetanu, Adonai Eloheinu, me'eretz Mitzrayim, uvditanu ibeit avadim. Ve'al haritzacha shechatata b'ksareinu, ve'al turatacha shenimadatanu, Ve'al hukecha shechodatanu, ve'al chaim hein v'hesed shenamtanu, ve'al achilot mezon she'atazan, u'mefanei sotanu tamid b'chol yom, u'v'chol eit u'v'chol sha'a. Ve'al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach, u'mevarechim otach, yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai, Tamid le'olam va'ed, kakatu ve'halta v'savata u'verachta et Adonai Elohecha al ha'aretz hatova asher natan lach, baruch ata Adonai al ha'aretz ve'al hamazon. Rachem Adonai Eloheinu al Yisrael amecha, v'al Yerushalayim irecha, v'al Tzion mishkan kavodecha, V'al Malchut Beit David Moshechecha, v'al Habayit HaGadol v'HaKadosh, Shemikra Shimcha Alav, Eloheinu Avinu Ra'einu Zumeinu, V'Naseinu V'Halkaleinu V'Haviheinu V'Havarach Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu Mehera Mikol Terateinu, V'na Al Tatzricheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Lo Lidei Matnat Basav Adam, V'lo Lidei Hava Atam, Ki im liyadacha, Hamaleya, Hapatucha, Hakadosha v'chahava, Shelo nevosh, V'lo nikalem le'olam va'ed. U'v'nei Yerushalayim, Yehakodesh v'mheira v'yameinu, Baruch ata Adonai, Bonei v'rachamav Yerushalayim, Amen. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, ha'el avinu malkeinu, adirenu boreinu, go'aleinu, yotzerenu, kodeshenu, kadosh Yaakov, ro'einu, ro'ei Yisrael, ha'melech ha'tov, v'ha'meitiv la'akol, shebachol yom v'ayom, hu heitiv, hu meitiv, hu yetiv lanu, hu gamalnu, hu gamaleinu la'ad. Lachein, lachesed, ulrachamim, ulreva, hatzala, v'hatzlacha, baracha, v'yeshua, nechama, ponasa, v'alkala, v'rachamim, v'achayim, v'shalom, v'chol tov, u'mikol tov, al yehat reinu. Is that it? Yeah, well done. Harachmanu Lachalei Le'olam Va'ed, Harachmanu Yitbarach B'Shamayim V'Aaretz, Harachmanu Yishtabach L'Dodorim, V'Yitba'anu V'Nitzan Asachim, V'Yitzatavanu Na'ach U'Lalamei Amen. Harachmanu Yifreseinu B'Chavot, Harachmanu Yishbor Leinu Me'al Tzavarenu, V'Hu Yolecheinu K'mamil La'atseinu, Harachmanu Yishlach Barachanu Ruba B'Bayit Hazeh, V'Al Shulchan Zeh She'achanu Alav, Harachmanu Yishlach Lanu, Et Eliyahu Hanavi Zachu Latov, V'Vaselanu B'Sorot Tovot, Yeshuot V'Nechamot, Harachmanu Yavarechet, Chechatan V'Et, Hakala V'Et, Hashush V'Nin, Oti v'et ishti v'et, Zari v'et kol asher lo, Et ba'al habayit hazeh, Oto v'et ishto v'et zaro, V'et kol asher lo, Atanu v'et kol asher lanu, Kamo shenibrahu avotenu Abraham Yitzhak v'Yakov v'kol mikol kol, Ken yavarech otanu kulanu yachad, Bivracha shalema v'noma amen. V'marom yolamdu aleichem v'aleinu zechut shetahi lemishmeret shalom. V'nisav v'rachamei et Adonai tzedakam yelahei yishenu. V'nimtzachem b'sechel tov b'nei Elohim b'yadam. Harachman hu yezakeinu lemot hamashiach hu hayei halam haba. Magdil Yeshuot malko v'yoseh chesed nimshecha l'david u'zara ad olam shinyach v'oseh shalom v'olam v'yoseh shalom. Amen. Adonai Kudashav Kien Asun Ireya Kafirim Rashu Vera Evi Vidorashi Adonai Yasuchel Tov Hodul Adonai Ki Tov Ki Leolam Hasto Poteach Et Yadecha Umasbia Lo Hai Ratzon Baruch HaGever Asher Yiftach Adonai V'Haya Adonai Miftacho Na Hayiti Gam Zakanti V'Lo Ra'iti Tzadik Ne'ezah V'Lo Ra'iti Tzadik Ne'ezah V'Varo L'Vakesh Lachem Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitein Adonai Yavarech Et Amo V'Shalom.
The bottle.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol ba'ara nikvodo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzei ha'adam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatza et ha'adam b'tzalmo b'tzelem dmut tavnito yitkon lo mimenu binyan ha'beyat. Baruch atah Adonai yotzei ha'adam. Sos tasis v'tagal ha'akara b'kibbutz b'naya letocha b'simcha. Baruch atah Adonai Mesameach Sion b'manecha, Sameach Tesamach Re'im Ahuvim, Kesem Achacha Yetzirecha Began Eden Mikeden, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mesameach Chatam B'Kala, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher baras asom b'simcha, Chatam v'hakala, Hila rinat tzah v'chilka, Achava v'achava, V'shalom v'beirut, Mecher Adonai Eloheinu, Yishamar B'arei Yehuda, V'tzchot Yerushalayim, Kol sason v'kol simcha, Kol chatam v'kol kala, Kol mitzchalat katarim mechukatam, U'ne'arim nimishten negenetam, Baruch atah Adonai, Mesameach chatanim chakala. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen. Amen. Shkoyach.
You're brilliant. That's it. Enough.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. Okay, just. Okay, just look at each other.
Where's it not going to fall down? Cut it aside. Go around the front if you want, it's fine. Go around the front.
Not that bit, Jamie.
Not that bit.
Not that bit. He's done it.
Oh, it's real. We'll let them front of
long as you need someone without you, tender like I do.
Thank you.
Cause I'm the one that's loved you, and there is no one else, no one else. If it takes the end of all time, someone who understands you the way I do. Oh, I'm not bragging on myself, but I'm the one that loves you, and there is no one else, no. one who